All right, g'day, hi, and welcome. Okay, so the bass. I just did a kind of a 1 year plus review on playing the eight string guitar, and do I love it? Do I not? I wish the eight string, this eight string was optimized a little bit more. And I believe my next eight string, when I get the tension right on it, is really going to be a real player, and it's going to work really well because this guitar does work really well with the five string bass. Now the bass, I've talked about it before, where my bass history goes. It goes back to basically 2 semesters in high school, where one semester I took the drums, the second semester I played the bass, and it was for like big band music, whatever. But by that time I was already well onto the six string guitars, rocking my face off, all that good stuff. This is the first real bass that I've ever owned. It's my second bass that I've owned, but my first real one. And I'm basically starting with a five string, if you really want to be all honest. Although back in high school, I was playing these Guild. One looked like an SG. It's a very expensive bass if you can find one now. It's a Guild SG copy from probably the 70s or 80s. And it was another neck through body Guild. I don't know which model. It was a natural finish one. And the thing, I remember it was a really good playing bass. Like, I remember, I have a picture of it. And I just remember it was a really good sounding bass. And it was a really good playing four string bass. Both of them were four strings. I've yet to do a full gig with a bass. I did do one little 2-song jam at the Fish Fry this year with it, but I haven't been on stage more than probably 15 minutes with a bass in my entire life of all the jam nights. Probably around that. So I have played bass off and on for years. I've always been telling myself to get one. All that stuff, but I only got one this year, mainly for my recording, which I'm gonna hopefully do some recording today because the weather's kind of crappy, which is kind of good. It gives my back a bit of a break from all the hard labor that I do. I know, you hear the violins. You can hear the violins, but anyway, so I'm playing this bass now since March. Is it February or March? When did I get the 7 string? Yeah, February, Marchish is probably, we'll say March because it was probably the very tail end of February when I got this. So I bought the Mark Holcomb 7 string. That thing is just absolutely awesome. That is becoming my most creative guitar, musicianship wise. Maybe not my favorite playing guitar, but that guitar really, really really shines. This thing, I wish it was as good as the Mark Holcomb guitar for playability. It's good, but it's like I say, the tension. You don't have enough tension on the F sharp and the B, and which is too bad because I'm suffering the same problem with my 5 string. Why? Because the scales, it's 34-inch scale. Knowing what I know now, I probably would have bought the 6 string version of this, but I didn't know they made a 6 string version of this. Just to have as a learning, whatever. The problem you have on the 8 string with the regular frets is the same problem you have on a short scaled 5 string bass. So do I recommend a 5 string bass to start, with the caveat knowing that your B string is not going to be as articulate as you like? It sounds cool. This bass is a good playing bass. It's not phenomenal, but if you were, let's say, about to be homeless and you had an opportunity to play on stage and they provided you with the amp, you only had to invest the $400 or the $460 with tax and all and shipping and everything for this bass, and that could put some meals on the table. This bass could probably earn you a hell of a lot of money doing gigs. Even my uncle, who's not a musician or whatever, asked me if I could go play at the Legion because they don't have a bass player there. And they said, yeah, it'd be really nice to see you up there with the bass. You don't get paid or nothing, but you meet people too when you start jamming. So I say, yeah, whenever my work slows down, in the late fall, I'll go up there and I'll play. But am I ready to play a 3-hour gig for Iron Maiden? No, not even close. But that said, I'll show you where I'm at after what is it, 7 months or so of playing, 7, 8 months, whatever it is. I'll put that there. Sorry, I've got guitars and basses and whatever. Now the 5-string bass, I don't know if I could live without a 5. I think I could easily go to the 6-string bass. I've tried them before. And the techniques from the 5 to the 6 are a lot more similar than the techniques between a 4 and a 5 or whatever. But I'll give you an idea of where I'm at. So, a part of a little tune I call a Raina's Ghostly Tune. Tune? Yeah. So that's that type of playing. How are my 3 fingers things doing? So I'm getting better with the pick. This is from a tune I call The Running. I'm in the process of recording all these things right now. So, but one of the main riffs in it, for metal, I think you have to use a pick as a bass player. But for another tune I got called The Peasant, which is going to be a concept album, just so you guys know. It's going to be really cool. And it... So you can see I'm keeping my lower strings from buzzing out too much. Or not buzzing out, but let's call it ringing out too much. So that same little riff. So you get the idea. I'm getting better. So I'm doing the recordings now, and yeah, I got a little bit of time. So a few months on, I can play for probably a good half hour before I start to notice me getting a little bit sloppy doing complicated stuff. Doing simple stuff, I could probably play for about an hour and a half. So that's not bad. So am I ready for a gig? No. An opening act, maybe, depending on what kind of music it is. So I'm working on all my techniques, my slapping, my, slapping and popping and stuff like that, which is going to take the longest. The pick, I'm starting to do more endurance with the pick and stuff like that. So, 7 months of playing, of real playing on it, coming up with some pretty cool stuff, and I'm very happy with it. There we go.